May is like falling down a rabbit hole. I wake up to find a new reality of vibrant, bold colours and strange images. I have the chance to play in my mind as a creative with no boundaries. As Man Ray confirms, this process so deforms the subject as almost to hide the identity of the original and creates a new form. The ensuing violation of the medium employed is the perfect assurance of the author's conviction. A lecturer once asked, "Have all the pictures been taken?" These have not. My practice is an exploration with no limits, apart from light, bright colours, subdued colours, things that are unnoticed until I engage and splash them before you. Wolfgang Tillman makes a strong point when it comes to abstraction. The initial question everybody asks when confronted with a photograph is who is it? When was it made? How is it made? And when you're confronted with a painting, you don't ask that. I mean, why can't it be enough to look at the object in front of you? I am happy to use all the photographic medium can offer to capture light, to paint with light, to create something that is seen in a new way. This may seem a bold position. Originally, I was not here to take pictures that convey my meaning, as you can never enter my mind. But I will touch on that later. Through my research of the abstract process, I aim to create pictures that we have co-authored. If it brings meaning to you, or a smile, or maybe leaves you cold and unmoved, then that's fantastic, as it gives you the chance to explore this wonderful world of abstract. Was Lewis Carroll giving us an insight when he wrote Alice in Wonderland? As the King declares, if there is no meaning in it, that saves the world of trouble. You know, as we needn't try to find any. And yet I don't know, he went on, spreading out the verses on his knee and looking at them with one eye. I seem to see a meaning in them after all. I feel that we do need to engage, even if it's only with one eye, as life without an aesthetic world would be a much poorer place. Research to inform my work has covered many different artists, from the photographic such as Man Ray, Penelope Umbrico with her appropriation of internet images, Chris McCaw, Idris Khan, and Gary Fabian Miller with his brightly coloured images produced with camera-less techniques, to painters such as Jackson Pollock and Robert Motherwell, who are considered the founders of the abstract expressionism movement. Ori Gerst is an example of a modern photographic practitioner who is inspirational in the abstract space, with the examples from his Liquidation series. Galician draws on the surroundings of the forest to produce haunting images. Time Slice from the same series introduces more colour and utilises the blue tones to create a very different image from the Galician, although maintain many aspects of the style. Some of the images I create with the process adopt some very similar elemental styles to Gerst's work, such as the one here I have entitled The Nightmare, but I have introduced a lot more colour to it. Again, this is a demonstration of the flexibility I have in my process, as this is another forest scene, but with the bright bold colours to lift the experience away from the nightmare and up to something exciting and new. Further informing work comes from practitioners such as Martin Roots, a Dutch abstract photographer. This kind of image conforms more to the abstract expression painting of Motherwell's period, but in contrast to Gerst, these images are reality displayed. It is the magnification or the angle that play with the bright bold colours and the straight long light interposed with shadows that create such a strong image. The methods for creating abstract images are numerous, and further examples of artists that have informed my work would include the likes of Pep Ventosa. Ventosa is possibly the most noted artist that works with multiple exposures, creating visions of objects that we can identify but not really see. And Corinne Viennet is another who works with this method, visiting famous landmarks to fill the camera with something that we know but have never seen. This process reveals the whole object from all angles, and although I feel my work is successful in this form, as the bandstand has never been seen all at once. However, I feel maybe there are more limitations with this style, but the aesthetic is accepted by more people. Of these images commented that they were much better than other images of mine, but the choice of colour palette was poor. With this in mind, maybe I'll refrain from green objects, although not from making images such as these. Bill Armstrong is an artist that embraces the abstract medium to produce works such as the Mandala series as pictured. This work is produced by defocusing the camera to blend the image he creates. In his own words, extreme defocusing allows me to create rhapsodies of colour that changes as one gazes into them, They pulsate as if alive. This sense of being within an inanimate invites an inquiry into the idea of interconnectedness of all things. I feel he achieves his intent as I find the work very immersive and meditative. Roger Newton is an artist whose work clearly resonates with me with his production of large, non-representational abstract images and utilisation of pinhole cameras. He is well known for creating non-glass lenses to refract and reflect light to manipulate his images. Newton, in his artist statement, says that by designing and fabricating my own lenses, I can control the quality of the light collected, the size and shape of the image field, and the colours in the scene. This allows me to work more directly with fundamental problems in the processes of seeing and perception, and ultimately the ontological problems of the thing and the scene depicted. Abstraction has a clear foundation within art history, Cubism and the Dada movement before Surrealism, and finally abstract expressionism. As photographers, we rob the painters of realism, so the only conclusion is to take abstraction too. The photographic abstract takes a step back and starts to remove the program of the machine, and with the camera as the canvas which is recording light, it is the artist that has control to push back. Abstraction allows the artist to take the known and present it as something new, take something known and portray it as something else, like the breaking wave images depicted, or appropriate multiple images and create a whole new version of something. Although the process of abstraction has taken a path of experimentation, not all experiments have been successful in the way that I had hoped. One experiment was with fairy liquid or soap bubbles. This produced some images that I'm exceptionally pleased with, but it transpired that the method produced repetitive images, all very similar to each other. Gravity pulls the soap film down the frame I'd constructed, and its relative thickness of the film is where the colour comes from, and gravity is a constant. After hundreds of images, all much the same, I abandoned the process as it would never create a collection of images with any real variation. As part of the research, I have worked with beer can pinhole photography cameras in creating solograms with photographic paper. This has produced only one image of note. This image, many weeks in the making, is not excluded or rejected, and more images will be produced, but within the confines of the module it is difficult to create many images, so this will continue as part of my practice as abstract images. As Susan Sontag proposes, a photograph changes according to the context in which it's shown. And with this in mind, I feel the only way to disseminate the work I've been focusing on would be in the form of an exhibition. A small print or pictures within a photo book would never deliver the experience to the viewer that a large display piece could. Having spent many months researching and working with abstract images, I feel there is a definite place within the art sector for this work, especially with the compelling number of established artists who work in the abstract area of photography. I feel that the project has reached a fork, as I mentioned earlier, and the two branches will continue side by side for a while. I have found that the process I have developed for the abstract can work well as an aspect within the more conventional image. I can use it alongside the pure abstract to present other work with more clear intent. The side project is utilising abstract to investigate and bring the message home of the impact and the problem we are facing with beach pollution. I feel my process applied to the normal image create more dramatic results, highlighting the toxicity of the waste that is left upon our beaches. A plastic sauce bottle lodged between some rocks be an image that will stop you and spark thought over pollution. Maybe not. The abstract process makes for a more arresting image showing what could have come from the bottle. Would that make you look or think more about the pollution? Of the aesthetic abstraction is so large that one has to experiment, and one will create images that sometimes may not fit with the work you are doing, as proven by the diverse collection of work in progress. However, that can be a springboard for your next project. Having developed a digital process that I can utilise, I can, like Newton, concentrate on the content of the image and not the process. Or is the Cheshire Cat right and we're all mad here? I value any feedback and thank you for your time.